What's up, everybody? It's the Digital World Podcast. Today's video is going to be short and sweet and to the point. And we all know that the World Economic Forum intends for you to have nothing and be happy. But this article goes over on how they exactly intend to do it. And I think many of you have probably thought about this before, but it's a good reminder. And so some of you may think, well, how can they ever take away everything that we own? And how can they ever, in their terms, make us happy without owning anything? Well, let me tell you something. There's this very easy way to do that. And we've talked about it on this show. And we've especially talked about it when I presented a little cartoon depiction by Mike Maloney. And the way that they'll do that is through making your money become worthless. Where it doesn't, where you're carrying barrels of cash just to pay for a piece of bread or loaf of bread, like in Weimar, Germany. And that's how they're going to do it. That's how they're going to do it. And people, you see, inflation is a tax, a hidden tax that no one realizes until, it starts accounting for a large percentage of their rent and food. And when it gets that high, it's basically game over. Okay? Game over here. Here it says, well, the truth is that they don't need to take your stuff to implement their goals. All they need to do is to destroy the value of your money, something we've talked about a lot on this channel. If your money becomes worthless, you'll start descending into poverty, and it won't be too long before you become totally dependent on the government. Very true. And as the stuff that you have right now wears out, you won't be able to replace it with worthless money that you're now holding, it says. So eventually you'll own nothing and you probably won't be happy about it. But people who are heavily in debt will probably be pretty happy about everything being wiped out clean. Maybe, possibly. It depends on how this situation gets solved by the global elite, quote unquote. And in order for this to be achieved, you have to realize here that Western society is going to completely collapse. Why? Well, let me tell you why. First off, the US dollar is the world reserve currency. And if you plan on keeping this printing press going, right? Eventually, your dollar's going to be worth nothing. Sorry, I'm over here yawning. Your dollar's going to be worth nothing. And what comes about that would be a very drastic scenario that would affect the world as a whole. And the consequences of that will be drastic. Because if the US falls, everything comes along with it too. And we hear talks about, inflation this, inflation that, and the Biden administration saying, oh, it's what happens when there's, there's pervasive sickness in the supply chain. It happens. That's why these prices. But it's also these ridiculous mandates that aren't being talked about that are causing this stress, these stresses in the economy. And all these policies that have been implemented, whether that be for truck drivers, whether that be for cargo ships, whatever. Green energy, it's all culminating. And you're going to see in the next couple years, there's change that's going to come about. So stay tuned for that and keep watching because this is progressing, but they're boiling the frog slowly. So you get used to, accustomed to what's happening around you. Don't get comfortable. I hope this episode has brought you some value. Like and subscribe. Let me know your thoughts. As always, this is the Digital Podcast, and I'll see you in the next episode.